The land of Samaria was under siege. For years, enemies had surrounded the city, cutting off all food and water, leaving the people trapped inside. Imagine the fear, the slow-burning dread as supplies dwindled. At first, they prayed for relief, holding on to hope that help would come. But as the days stretched into months, and then into years, that hope began to fade, replaced by an unrelenting hunger that cast a shadow over every single home. Mothers wept as they held their starving children. Fathers despaired, powerless to provide. The cries of the hungry echoed through the streets and the city's massive walls. Once a symbol of protection, now felt like the bars of a prison. The people were trapped not just by the enemy outside, but by the gnawing emptiness inside their own bodies. Then came a time so dark, so desperate, that it tested the very limits of what it means to be human. The Bible, in the second book of Kings, tells us what happened next. In the heart of this devastating famine, people were driven to unimaginable acts. The hunger had become a physical torment, a madness that clouded all reason. And in the extremity of their suffering, they made a horrifying agreement. But when she returned to her neighbor, the other woman confronted her, her voice filled with a mixture of shock and shared guilt. "What have you done?" she cried. And the answer was chillingly simple, yet it carries the weight of all their suffering. We were desperate. Hunger drove us here. The Bible tells this story with a stark, matter-of-fact tone, which only adds to the horror that echoes across the centuries. The famine had pushed the people of Samaria to the very brink of moral and human collapse. It's a terrifying look at what can happen when all hope seems lost. But this is not where God's story ends. In the midst of this absolute darkness, a miracle was about to unfold. Through the prophet Elisha, the Lord intervened. He declared that by the next day, food would be so plentiful in Samaria that it would be sold for almost nothing. And just as he promised, the siege was miraculously broken. The enemy army fled in panic, leaving behind all their supplies. Food flooded back into the city. What had been a story of unspeakable despair and terror became a powerful testimony to God's power to save, even in the most desperate and seemingly hopeless situations. Life slowly began to return to a city that had been on the edge of death. This story, though deeply disturbing, serves a profound purpose. It reminds us of the fragility of civilization and the depths of human suffering. It confronts us with the darkness that exists in the world, but it also shines a brilliant light on the boundless mercy of God. It shows that even when humanity hits rock bottom, God's grace can break through. The Bible is filled with stories of courage, faith, and miracles.